Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really cool analysis from Critechery to uncover the hidden story of a recent IPL match. Now, if you just looked at the scorecard for Delhi Capitals versus Mumbai Indians, you'd think, okay, simple, comfortable win for Delhi. But as we're about to see, the real story, the numbers behind that result, well, they tell a much more thrilling and honestly a way more interesting story. So let's just start with the final result. A win by 6 wickets with 11 balls left. I mean, in the world of T20 cricket, that's not just a win, that's a blowout. On paper, this match looks completely one-sided, a total non-event. But was it really? And yet, if you were watching, you know it didn't feel that way. Not at all. For long stretches, the match was unbelievably tense, just hanging in the balance. So that's the big puzzle we're going to solve in this explainer. Why did a match that ended so decisively feel like it was on a knife's edge for so long? Okay, to get to the bottom of this, we need to go way beyond the basic scorecard. Our first big clue comes from a Critechery tool called the Humdinger score. It's basically a rating out of 10 that measures how genuinely exciting a match actually was. So what did the data say? A 3.2 out of 10. Wow, that is incredibly low. The data completely agrees with the final score. This was not a thriller. It was what Critechery calls an outcome match, which is just a fancy way of saying it was a game where the winner was pretty clear from a long way out. Which, just makes that feeling of tension we all had even more of a mystery. Let's break down why that score was so low. The win margin was huge, right? And there were no sudden collapses, no big wicket clusters to create any panic. But look at this last point. The win probability was only in that truly competitive, nail-biting 40 to 60% zone for a tiny, tiny fraction of the game. Statistically, this match was rarely in doubt. So where on earth did that tension come from? To find the source of that tension, we have to rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Because despite how it all ended, this match actually started with both teams in a state of absolute crisis during the power play. Just look at how similar their struggles were. Almost identical runs scored, and both of them losing 2 crucial early wickets. This wasn't one team dominating. This was 2 teams in deep, deep trouble right from the get-go. For Mumbai, Mukesh Kumar struck twice in 3 balls, and just like that, they were reeling at 18 for 2. But believe it or not, Delhi's start was even worse. They lost 2 wickets in just 4 balls, collapsing to a disastrous 7 for 2. I mean, their chase was nearly over before it had even really begun. So somehow, after all that chaos, Delhi manages to stabilize through a partnership. But that stability led to one single fleeting moment. A moment where the entire game hung perfectly and kind of beautifully in the balance. This moment came when Nissanka got out, leaving Delhi at 73 for 3 with the required run rate starting to climb. As the commentators were saying at the time, this was it. This was the whole ball game, resting on this single point in time. And the data backs it up completely. Delhi's win probability dropped to just 47%. It was, for all intents and purposes, a coin flip. This right here was the source of that tension we all felt. The entire game, perfectly balanced, resting on what happened next. So how do you go from a 50-50 chance to a blowout win? Well, the answer is one man, Sameer Rizvi. And what he did next? It wasn't just batting. It was a 9-minute heist that literally ripped the game away from Mumbai. It all went down in the 11th over. At the start, when probability's at 48%, then Rizvi hits the first ball from Shardul Thakur for 6. Boom, it jumps to 55. He hits the very next ball for another 6. Now it's up to 64. By the end of that single over, it had soared all the way to 72%. The game was stolen in just 6 deliveries. And this was just pure tactical genius. Look at his approach. Against Mumbai's best bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, he just survived. 3 runs from 8 balls, total respect. But against the other bowlers, he went on an absolute all-out attack with a strike rate well over 250. This wasn't just random slogging. It was a calculated, brutal assault. He was eventually out for a stunning 90 off 51 balls, but by then, the job was completely done. The handshakes from the opposition, from his own teammates, they said it all. He had single-handedly won them the match. So just how critical was that one over against Shardul Thakur? Well, we can use another really cool Critechery tool called Black Mirror to run a what-if scenario. What if that one disastrous over just never happened? In reality, after Rizvi's attack, Delhi's win probability was a lock at 95%. But if Thakur had just bowled a totally average over, the simulation shows Delhi's chances would have been only 68%. The game would have been a real fight, right down to the wire, a proper contest. And that's the solution to our puzzle. Rizvi's brilliant, targeted assault on a single weak link is exactly what created that deceptive final score. He didn't just win the match, he won it so brutally that he completely erased all memory of the tense, nail-biting contest that came before it. Which leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Was this a story of one man's genius? Or was it about one team's collapse? Was it a brilliant heist, or was the door simply left unlocked? As is so often the case in sports, the truth is probably somewhere right in the middle.
If you want to dive even deeper into the data on this one, the full Critechery analysis with all the charts and everything is linked right there in the description. Thanks for watching The Explainer.